earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call upon Raul Jimenez from the start. He's on the bench, still trying to prove his fitness. Andres Guardado will have Ochoa in the 5th World Cup. Ochoa with a Loma cap appearance as well. As for Poland, Maciej Kasztat, his first World Cup game at right wing back. Robert Lewandowski searching for his first World Cup goal. He leads the line for Poland, while Glick makes his 100th cap at the heart of Poland's defence. The game will start at 4 o'clock. Off fast approaching in the World Cup encounter between Mexico and Poland. After a day of fantastic performances in terms of shocks, these two will try and live up to the hype in this latest World Cup clash from Group C, the same group with Saudi Arabia beat Argentina earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call upon Raul Jimenez from the start. He's on the bench, still trying to prove his fitness. Andres Guardado will have Ochoa in the 5th World Cup. Ochoa with a Loma cap appearance as well. As for Poland, Maciej Kasztat, his first World Cup game at right wing back. Robert Lewandowski searching for his first World Cup goal. He leads the line for Poland, while Glick makes his 100th cap at the heart of Poland's defence. The game will start at 4 o'clock. Off fast approaching in the World Cup encounter between Mexico and Poland. After a day of fantastic performances in terms of shocks, these two will try and live up to the hype in this latest World Cup clash from Group C, the same group with Saudi Arabia beat Argentina earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call upon Raul Jimenez from the start. He's on the bench, still trying to prove his fitness. Andres Guardado will have Ochoa in the 5th World Cup. Ochoa with a Loma cap appearance as well. As for Poland, Maciej Kasztat, his first World Cup game at right wing back. Robert Lewandowski searching for his first World Cup goal. He leads the line for Poland, while Glick makes his 100th cap at the heart of Poland's defence. The game will start at 4 o'clock. Off fast approaching in the World Cup encounter between Mexico and Poland. After a day of fantastic performances in terms of shocks, these two will try and live up to the hype in this latest World Cup clash from Group C, the same group with Saudi Arabia beat Argentina earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call upon Raul Jimenez from the start. He's on the bench, still trying to prove his fitness. Andres Guardado will have Ochoa in the 5th World Cup. Ochoa with a Loma cap appearance as well. As for Poland, Maciej Kasztat, his first World Cup game at right wing back. Robert Lewandowski searching for his first World Cup goal. He leads the line for Poland, while Glick makes his 100th cap at the heart of Poland's defence. The game will start at 4 o'clock. Off fast approaching in the World Cup encounter between Mexico and Poland. After a day of fantastic performances in terms of shocks, these two will try and live up to the hype in this latest World Cup clash from Group C, the same group with Saudi Arabia beat Argentina earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call upon Raul Jimenez from the start. He's on the bench, still trying to prove his fitness. Andres Guardado will have Ochoa in the 5th World Cup. Ochoa with a Loma cap appearance as well. As for Poland, Maciej Kasztat, his first World Cup game at right wing back. Robert Lewandowski searching for his first World Cup goal. He leads the line for Poland, while Glick makes his 100th cap at the heart of Poland's defence. The game will start at 4 o'clock. Off fast approaching in the World Cup encounter between Mexico and Poland. After a day of fantastic performances in terms of shocks, these two will try and live up to the hype in this latest World Cup clash from Group C, the same group with Saudi Arabia beat Argentina earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call upon Raul Jimenez from the start. He's on the bench, still trying to prove his fitness. Andres Guardado will have Ochoa in the 5th World Cup. Ochoa with a Loma cap appearance as well. As for Poland, Maciej Kasztat, his first World Cup game at right wing back. Robert Lewandowski searching for his first World Cup goal. He leads the line for Poland, while Glick makes his 100th cap at the heart of Poland's defence. The game will start at 4 o'clock. Off fast approaching in the World Cup encounter between Mexico and Poland. After a day of fantastic performances in terms of shocks, these two will try and live up to the hype in this latest World Cup clash from Group C, the same group with Saudi Arabia beat Argentina earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call upon Raul Jimenez from the start. He's on the bench, still trying to prove his fitness. Andres Guardado will have Ochoa in the 5th World Cup. Ochoa with a Loma cap appearance as well. As for Poland, Matej Kasz starts his first World Cup game at right wing-back. Robert Lewandowski searching for his first World Cup goal. He leads the line for Poland, while Glick makes his 100th cap at the heart of Poland's defence. The game will start at 4 o'clock. Off fast approaching in the World Cup encounter between Mexico and Poland. After a day of fantastic performances in terms of shocks, these two will try and live up to the hype in this latest World Cup clash from Group C, the same group which Saudi Arabia beat Argentina earlier this morning. In terms of team news, Mexico are unable to call. Good afternoon then, and welcome to our coverage. The World Cup continues with Mexico versus Poland, and the game for Group C will hopefully live up to the hype of the first contest this morning, when Argentina were beaten by Saudi Arabia to throw a cat amongst the pigeons in that group. And now the favourites for it have some work to do. So will that affect the mindset of these two players, sets of teams should I say? We will soon find out. Myself, Tom Hill, and John Hogan will bring you all the action this afternoon from this encounter. A proud day for Kamil Glick. He makes his 100th cap. Guillermo Ochoa, he's still going. He's in his 5th World Cup alongside Guardado. So it's a passionate day. Looking at the teams, Mexico go with Ochoa, Gallardo, Moreno, Montes and Sanchez. It's then Chavez, Alvarez, Herrera, Vega, Martin and Lozano. As for Poland, we go with Szczesny, Berezinski, Glick and Kilbiel, Kaminski, Kasz, Kukowiak, Szymanski, Zalewski, Lewandowski and Zielinski. You would look at Mexico's team, John. Firstly, good afternoon to you. You would say there's a lack of a goal scorer, but you've got some World Cup experience. They have got Lozano, who of course is a flair player in Serie A. What are you expecting today? Well,
they've got to share the goals around. Lozano has 16 for his country. Henry Martin, just 6 out of 27. They've got a front three, but Vega is more a winger, really. They've just got to play well en masse. It's a team game. We saw that today, didn't we? But Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, but they did it with 2 fantastic goals, didn't they? So, I've just done the last game where both teams really struggled to find the back of the net. Don't look like they've got that goal scorer. Lewandowski is the gift that keeps on giving for Poland. 76. He's looking for 77 goals, and he genuinely could be the difference. But Poland still have to play well and get the ball to him.
Yeah, it is, of course, a World Cup. First, Lewandowski still to find the back of the net. I'm sure everywhere else he's a phenomenal player for his country and his club. As Mexico in their traditional home strip, by the way, the tricolour, green, white shorts, red socks. Poland in the white with red and then white socks. As they have to defend here and do so successfully as the ball is wrestled out of play, and that should be a Mexico throw-in, and it will be, as it is Gerard Martino that's on the edge of the technical area. Mexico perhaps have had better squads, younger squads that could do the damage, but they've got some experience around their players, while Saudi Arabia's team today were all domestically based. You have got players, of course, for Wolves, Napoli, Real Betis, Athens, Houston, PSV, Ajax. So experienced campaigners, but none of those as much as Lewandowski is Zalewski, who's had an arm to the side of their head. But there is a lot of countries, John, at World Cups that rely on one player in particular. As you say, it's up to them to spread it around. That's what I find quite interesting about Mexico, because their so-called one player in Raul Jimenez, he's obviously not leading the line, so it's then Lozano. And depth is where we're really going to have to see what these two are made of. I guess it's how far they can go with it.
Well, I think Mexico is a style that, if you're playing in the Mexican heat, then you play keep ball football. Essentially as well, without overdoing it, they're not the biggest nation, are they? So it tends to be. I mean, they've got Cesar Montes at 6'5". He's in there to fight with the likes of Kirior and Glick and Berezinski, and Lewandowski are all 6-footers. Poland have definitely got the edge. Then physically, they're stronger. But it's whether Mexico can keep the ball, keep hold of it well. If they win the battle for possession, which they're not winning at the minute, then I think they can work Poland around and work this thing out of them. it's going to be a real clash of styles as well. And Mexico definitely in 4-3-3. Here they go down the right-hand side, a real chance for them.
Yeah, Lozano's picked the pocket and whips the ball in across the face.
Whoa!
The keeper spills the man at the far post. I think it was Alexis Vega that couldn't get his foot around the ball. And a thunderous strike from Lozano across the box. Maybe a bit too high for an attacking header. And maybe a lack of options as well, as Poland picked the pocket. Lewandowski free kick given. Just to mention the stat, by the way, that I wrote down. I thought this was the most apt stat. I know John loves stats. It's his favourite thing in the world. Poland's last 5 World Cup goals, all set pieces at World Cups. So, it is where they like to dominate.
Yeah, that might be a key for them today as well. It's vital. We saw a set piece nearly allowed Denmark to scrape a victory today, and in the end, their big man got his he wanted to go with his knee, Cornelius, and then went with his head and ended up scraping a header onto the woodwork. That's the closest they got, and it was a big man nodding it in. We even saw for England, crosses in, and you can do a bit of damage. I think you always revert back to type in a World Cup, and you think, well, we've seen every formation, every kind of tactic. Mexico have got to do it one way though. I like the fact that they're 4-3-3. It says okay, what we have, we know what we haven't got. But we're going to trade on what we do well. But here's a chance for Poland.
Yeah, Poland bursting through. Lewandowski's played them in behind. Now 2 options. It's well cut out at the far post. And good work. Zielinski was trying to get in support of Jakub Kaminski. And the cut-out play was well done from Jesus Gallardo, who raced across his box and just poked the ball away. But we've already seen a bit of openings and a couple of counter-attacking traps, John.
I tell you what, Gallardo used to be a winger. He's quick, but I'm a bit disappointed with Kaminski there, the Wolfsburger. I just thought, get your head down then. And he's letting the old man get back to him, the left back from Monterrey. I'm thinking, well, he's still got plenty in the tank, got across well. But it's a corner. I talked about the size of him. They're massive. I didn't even mention Krychowiak. He's over 6 foot as well. They're going to be hard to stop from set piece.
Yeah, there's a few names from yesteryear that me and John commentated on for many years. You had Janssen up front for the Netherlands on Mondays. This corner is taken, header down, deflected, and nearly gone the opposite way. Mexico conceded a second corner, and the man that was turning it that way was Jorge Sanchez, although he didn't know that much about it, John.
No, it didn't. It came off his shoulder, just a glancing blow, and Jorge Sanchez there, like I said, knew nothing about that. I don't know if he's on target. But anyway, it's another corner kick. They didn't deal that well with the first one. Here we go. Ball near post. That's a terrible corner. They get dead lucky that they get another chance with that, because it was an absolute shocker. Really poor ball in. We expect better from Zielinski, the Napoli man. He gets a second opportunity.
Yeah, he does. Now, who can he pick out in the light of Poland towards the edge of the 6-yard box? Mexico with a header. 2 players gone to ground, and the referee has spotted this immediately. He's clearly more eagle-eyed than the official in the Saudi Arabia match, who allowed a player to be kneed in the chops for a good 10 seconds before getting seen to. So 2 players going for the same ball. This is going to add to the potential time on, which we've seen throughout this tournament, and it is a glance and then a more fearsome crunch. It's not as bad as the Iran one.
No, it's not.
It's
not, yeah. The good news. Do you want some good news? It's both the forehead, so nobody's got hit in the temple or the back of the head. The bad news, it's a bad collision there, Kamil Glick, and the man that they desperately need there, Montez. I talked about him, 6'5". He's a man who's supposed to get around and win all the headers. He's got a big job to do, because we talked about he's got about 5 players to mark. So he's going to have to put himself about this lad, and he just did there, and he did enough to put Kamil Glick off. So good for him, and good for the game as well. They're both back and up, and they look all right.
Yeah, they're both good to go. They are being told by the official to go to the touchline, and of course, following the rules, there is somebody being told to come towards, I think it's the ball. The referee's trying to place the ball down and start again. So Glick is suggesting there is no need for any form of drinks or treatments. Officials trying to explain the rules. I have tried to clear my diary for the rest of the night and tomorrow because of this stoppage time.
The England game, I mean, I know there was the big injury the first half, the keeper. That was a nasty blow, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
But
did you see the Saudi Arabia one today?
I didn't see that one, no. Was it? Oof. But there was 24 minutes of time added on in the England game. 24. It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the Saudi Arabia, for those that didn't see it, is still 0-0, by the way, inside the first 10 minutes. Keeper come flying off his line, flying knee to the side of the defender who wasn't looking, straight into the temple, and then he hit his head so hard on the ground. Referee carried on for a little bit. Keeper was waving his arms around, so he was off his line. Saudi Arabia nearly conceded, and then the 8 minutes turned to 16 for the delay. So I cleared my diary out, no dinner, and that is how. But it's consistent at least. Well, you don't agree with it, at least compared to VAR, it is consistent.
No, I agree with that. I'm enjoying the tournament. I think the games have been long. You know, people will be biting on the end of their fingernails, hanging on to, possibly, their winning betting slip, and then 14 minutes of added time. You think, oh, blimey, you're kidding. So it's all that. We're all going to have to suffer that. Weirdly enough, they've never played enough added time anyway for the time that's lost in games. It just comes as a shock that they've decided this tournament to right that wrong. But anyway, it is what it is, and everybody knows about it now.
Yeah, Poland certainly know what they want to do here, but they've been blocked off at the last second. It's good work from Alexis Vega getting back as a makeshift left back to help out. Some of the Poland fans trying to get a chant going, and a successful one at that. As Guillermo Ochoa, almost if he's passing a ball to a dog, just a little flick of the heel towards his centre-back in front of him, which was Montes. A little kick out from the back has got Mexico crossing towards halfway. They try and fire their forward pass over halfway, but Montes had his pass blocked, and it is the number 19, Ziemansky, that got his foot to it. Mexico on halfway with Alvarez. Forward they go, but not too far before they go back again into the centre circle, and Hector Herrera will assess the field again with Hector Moreno to Vega, who runs into traffic, but he's done well to bounce away from trouble. Now Mexico racing towards the box and trying to get into a good attacking position was Luis Chavez. He put the head down. He certainly let his intentions known. They've won a corner.
Yeah, so there's been a good ebb and flow so far. Mexico in this 4-3-3, it allows them to get forward. They're desperate to get forward and play. Chavez, they're doing well, and he's got Vega somewhere around him as well for support, plus the fullback Gallardo. So corner kick, but they're bound to take it short. They're a small team.
They take it short indeed, and it's still in possession with Mexico. Now it's looped in toward the 6-yard box. Header towards goal. It's over the top. Poland's body's dead enough to put them off, and it's Hector Moreno heading the ball over the crossbar. It's 12 minutes in. The flag has gone up anyway. It would not have counted, but it's the closest we've come, I think, in terms of a decent ball into the area. Yeah,
they've got to shift those big guys around to try and get good ball in. Even though Hector Moreno gets there, he's the meat in the sandwich. He's off balance there because he's having to cope with Jakub Kiwo, the Spezia man in behind him. And it's not going to be easy, But I thought it was better to try and work a slightly different angle, have the big men unsettled and then lose their markers to some degree and then put the ball in. I don't think they're going to get anything through a set piece like that, though. I can't imagine them scoring from a corner today, Mexico. I just don't. I think, the key for them is in open play, getting on the ball, being tidy, passing the ball well, which should be within their remit. It looks a beautiful pitch, conditions, probably in Mexico's favour more so than Poland with the the temperature at the stadium. But, they need to make these things work in their favour, work the ball and work Poland hard.
Yeah, Mexico clear the ball down the line towards halfway, and with 13 minutes gone, still Mexico 0, Poland 0. Listening to unofficial off-tube Shadow commentary of this latest World Cup clash. It is a busy few days, 4 games a day, which is unheard of course, but they are trying to get the World Cup more condensed due to the fact it's in the middle of the major European season.
I think that the starting times are fantastic, I think, and it's fun throughout the day. I mean, this morning I was thinking, will I bother watching it? And then, of course, I was massively rewarded with the game that we saw. I went for a bath at half-time. When I got back out, somehow Saudi Arabia were winning. Couldn't believe it. And then I had to spool back, of course, to find out how that had happened. But 2 absolutely brilliant goals. And if you haven't seen them, the Saudi Arabia goals, absolutely worth it. And then, of course, the celebrations afterwards. It's great. It's 11 lads against 11 lads, and you always think, well, you've got a chance. But still, when you see something like that, you're still amazed by it. And that's the magic that, the World Cup brings around.
Yeah, it was one of the best commentaries I'd done for a while in terms of drama. And as my co-commentator said, you'll remember that game for where you were, where you watched it. John can tell everybody who was in the bath. It is 14 minutes gone, still colourless. Back out towards the right-hand side for Jorge Sanchez.
Well,
fits and starts. So sorry, go on, John.
me and Saudi Arabia were both cleaning up at the same time.
I mean, it was I think as a World Cup, you need that landmark win, don't you? For somebody to shock. We saw Germany go out in the groups last year. You've seen other big nations. Of course, one of the biggest results I remember, albeit latter stages, was Germany thumping Brazil.
I did that game, and stuff like that. It lives long in the memory. You can't believe what you're seeing, and it's so wow. You know, you're wowed by it, and it's a spectacle. But it just reminds you, every man jack of these players out there are good players, and they're right on the brink of what they can do. I thought the Saudi goals were great because. But I like the first one. I mean, the pot shot, it catches the eye. It's sort of more memorable. But the first one, I think, how on earth did that kid get the ball the back of the net? He could only score doing what he did. In a way, even though it wasn't a glamorous, it was perfect what he did to score. And you think, wow, you know, that's going to live long in his memory. And of course, what came after was even better.
Yeah, Poland, Mexico will try and replicate that. I did say earlier in the game, right at the start, I wonder if that result. I guess managers have got to try and think tactically. I think this was always going to be a game where a draw wasn't the worst result. They'd both expect to beat Saudi Arabia. It's then what can you get out of Argentina as Mexico race down the right. It's a foot race, one that they're going to, I say lose, but they gave up on that to Jorge Sanchez because he kicked it too far in front. It is 15 and a half gone, and it is still goalless. But I'm about to say, we're having a little fits in the start. We're seeing 10 seconds, 20 seconds of bright play from either side. Couple of crosses in by Mexico, that counter-attack that Lewandowski started for Poland, but I think we're getting the game we all expected. Quite a close encounter between two teams that are very well matched, very well balanced, play a similar sort of setup in terms of utilising width, and three centre-backs for Poland are marking Henry Martin out of the game, who I've only had to mention once, and that's when I announced the teams.
Yeah, I mean, he's not there really to engage the centre-backs, is he? He's there to keep out their way and somehow find a little gap through. You know, he's 5'10" and he's up against giant blokes anyway. We'll break off because here come Poland.
Yeah, Poland on the attack, trying to pick up Lewandowski. You cannot ask Lewandowski to control that ball with much success. It was absolutely fired into him and it's pinged him off the thigh, gone out towards the left-back position, and Mexico have regathered and come over halfway, but Poland nip in with a challenge. It's just one of those, I think it's a 50-50 where they're on the attack straight away. Matty Cash, making his first World Cup appearance, believes he's made a fair challenge to get them going, and the replay suggests, I think he got a touch to the ball. Have you taken too much of the man, John?
No, I don't think so. I think they've been a bit overzealous with that. Depends which referee. Of course, the Uruguayan VAR referee for England allowed a rugby tackle, didn't he? So you think all bets are off, but then there was a tiny shirt pull and he gave it. Here come Mexico, though, into the box they go. Little cutback is blocked away, but there's maybe another chance here at the edge of the area. Referee spotted something, maybe an offside, and so play stops. Yeah, Matty Cash is a very vigorous sort of player, very aggressive, isn't he? And, just slightly overdoing it. It'd be no surprise to see him getting carded today. I was a little bit surprised that he was in the Poland fold, but it has soon made his way into the first team. And he's a very good overlapping, attacking player. He's actually a winger by trade, wasn't he, before he converted to sort of a right back. But yeah, he certainly adds something to this Polish team.
Yeah, he will try and have a successful first World Cup campaign. So far, he's had very little to do inside the first 18 minutes. It has been quite a passive game with very little action as Lewandowski backs into his, gets the wrong side of the defender and just gives him a slight nudge, which helps him retrieve possession. Poland then jump into thin air to try and win it back. Mexico stand their ground in the shape of Hector Herrera, who, an experienced campaigner, turns his back and gets it to a teammate in Hector Moreno.
There's a lot of Ajax boys in this Mexico 11, aren't there? Three of them. With Sanchez and Moreno, then Alvarez in the middle. Clearly that's a decent standard day play at European football every year for them. They've got some good guys. It's a definite clash of styles here. A lot more tippy-tappy, if you like, Mexico, and then a very much more rugged and dynamic style from Poland. Difficult to say who's on top at the minute. I think it's 6 and 2 threes.
Here is Edson Alvarez trying to stride over halfway. He plays the ball out wide to Lozano, who's quiet for the last 10 minutes. He curls the ball into the box. Poland are going to clear it into the sky. Off his line comes Szczesny, and Wojciech Szczesny deals with it very easily. Glick rather thankful that there was no need for any panic, and Szczesny former Arsenal stopper, plays it wide to Cash, who gestures that he's going to go down the right-hand side, and stops in his tracks and keeps it ticking over into Glick. Glick now takes a couple of touches before deciding to go sideways towards the left-hand side of his defence, which where Szymanski had dropped in to help. You said earlier, John, it isn't a clash of styles, and that's why we are getting quite a steady game. Nothing to get that excited about, but still two teams trying to work each other out tactically. These World Cup encounters can be quite fascinating to watch. Who will make the first mistake? Who will try and go a bit too far forward? Will they leave any gaps in behind? Poland will feel the back three. They've got things covered. But Mexico's midfield three often protects that back line as well.
I always think it's a mistake to have a back three against the front three. But it depends, doesn't it? It's all right saying that Mexico got front three, but in essence, two of those guys might be working back into midfield, which is pretty much what they're doing at the moment. We're not seeing anything of Martin forward, and if anything, Lozano is he's hanging out sort of inside right, waiting for the ball, and just about the furthest forward. Here we go again. They're trying to make that work. He doesn't really. The other thing there is Sanchez on that right-hand side. He's got bags of pace. We saw that earlier when he was running up against Berezinski, and I think that the right is where they look the strongest, Mexico.
Yeah, you don't want to be too obvious where you're going. I think that was Argentina's issue today. It was Di Maria or Messi, and they didn't play it down the left-hand side when they got desperate. And by the time that they'd figured that out, it was too late. Saudi Arabia had seen this game out. As we said earlier, as Poland give the ball away, they were looking for Lewandowski, but they've picked it back up of the European outfit. Wide it goes to Cash, who's trying to use that attacking flair that John mentioned. Just to say that he cuts back where the 22nd minute as they pile forward through midfield. Kaminski trying to find a space. It's a lazy pass, and Mexico get there first. Lozano dropping deep, and even worse pass. Poland have now got it back, tries to squeeze it through for Lewandowski. He goes to ground. There's no contact with the ball. Referee saying it's a natural collection of the bodies. They both run into each other. I'd like to see a second look at that.
Yeah, it didn't look like anything really. Every bit of contact does not a free kick make, does it? And I just felt, although this are coming together, the ball was actually not meant for either of them. So much ado about nothing really. Both teams really guilty of giving the ball away. I just feel that we've had a helter-skelter start to the game, and it just hasn't settled down to any kind of degree. If you're expecting, in hot temperatures, the two teams to be padding about, not been like that at all. I mean, there's such an intensity about the game, It's really 90 miles an hour, and it probably needs to slow down just a touch to improve.
Lozano tries to get in behind. He had his cross blocked, and Poland keep it alive. Don't concede a goal kick. It's a corner ball in high boots, and Poland are going to get a free kick here in the penalty area. Another high challenge, but it is nothing too severe as Martin is allowed to go on without a card. So we're halfway through the first half, and as John said, it isn't a great watch, but there is potential there with two teams to try and take the scoring, and very well matched. So we'll see what John can take us through to half-time, see if he gets any more action than I did.
Lewandowski there, we're just watching that incident where he was kind of diving, looking for it, wasn't he? The ball was slightly behind him. Anyway, Mexico 0, Poland 0. Thanks, Tom, for that first stint. Sometimes it's a bit dry, isn't it? I did the Denmark game. It wasn't a barrel of laughs. Tunisia played okay, but they'd gone with one striker, and whenever a team's digging in like that, you just think it might be a tough watch. They had a bit of attacking finesse, did Tunisia. The striker played well, but it was still just a little bit defence-minded. Actually, when I saw the first half of the game, Argentina-Saudi Arabia, I did think the Saudis kept to shape and tried to mix the passing up quite a bit. Some long passes looked quite good, and I just thought, well, they've got an intent to do well. And as I was sat in the bath, I thought, at least they're doing better than Iran did. And then I came back downstairs and they're 2-1 up. But I thought they definitely showed that intent the first half. They didn't play that well the first half. Argentina played better. But they showed a bit of quality, and more than that, keeping players up the field, not just sitting back. Here, what we don't want to see is Mexico just intent to keep in shape. We've seen their front three there, but just for the moment, whenever Poland have to defend, Krychowiak goes back, as we know he would do, and makes it 4 against 3. I understand that. They're getting the numbers right there, aren't they? But anyway, just playing out from the back, just a game. Tempo's just died a little bit. Maybe it'll pick up now. Zalewski's trying to make some ground in the middle of the park, but he contested, and then Lewandowski there with a poor touch. Ball gets away from him under a little bit of pressure from Herrera, not that much. Or was it Szymanski there? All I saw was the 9, maybe not the other number behind it. Long ball forward here, and well, anyway, held up relatively well by Vega. Ball out to right-hand side, and Sanchez then ends up having a battle with Szymanski, who is fouled. Zalewski takes it quickly. Long raking ball forward from Krychowiak towards one of his strikers, but the covers come round and dealt with that. And so between Moreno and Montes, they're doing a good job as Mexico fight for the ball. It looked like a foul on Lozano there, and indeed the referee thinks so as well. Barazinski, tell you what, there's no time spent faffing about, is there? The ball is almost constantly in play. It's such a game of high tempo. There's 1 or 2 old soldiers in the Mexico team. It's a sprinkling of youngsters as well. I wonder if they can keep going at the pace. Lozano's a good ball into the box now, maybe an opportunity as they reach the byline. The cutback is then into the box, and a header comes across, and in the end, Szczesny diving to his left. That ball is just going to go wide. Herrera it was who got the cutback, and then at the far post, it was the smallest of small, really, Alexis Vega at 5'8", coming and winning the header. Imagine that if he'd have got his header in the back of the net. 5'8", beats 6'2", and scores. He wasn't far away.
No, he wasn't. It was a good leap, wasn't it, at the far post? His reaction as well, John, suggests he really feels he should be hitting the corner. He's hands over the mouth in desperation at how it didn't go in. Gerard Moreno, he wheels away in frustration, but again, it was quite simple. They just waited for Poland to come out. They played it in the channel behind. They put bodies in the box and crossed from there. So maybe a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I mean, it was good there. It was a good cross from the right-hand side. Herrera, you know, the Houston Dynamo showing the dynamics to want to get to the byline. I think, you know, even if you're a smaller team, you want the centre-backs facing their own goal. Maybe prodding it into their own net. I don't think we've seen an own goal at the tournament yet, have we? But it's going to come. We're bound to see one of those. Everything's on the raggedy edge, isn't it, in this tournament? And that's what I love about it. There's nothing left out. There's no caginess so far. That's to come in, you know, maybe the end of the group stages where people have got different agendas. But for the moment, everyone's going for broke, really. Alvarez into the middle of the park, and then round the back they've got an opportunity. Keeper comes out, he doesn't get it. Szczesny, oh, they try to force the ball in. It won't just break the back of the net there. And Gallardo running right round the back there. Szczesny comes out, sells his soul. How is that not 1-0?
What a ball that is over the top. It's a really good pass. I just wonder, it's so easy for us to say as well, because we're not the one that's running at a 6'3" goalkeeper. I think his only chance to get there is to throw himself at it first. Once the keeper touches it, it's no man's land and he can't hook it away. But again, a nice percentage ball into the box. You're asking questions of Poland. That's twice now in 2 attacks that they've put a decent delivery in.
I tell you what's impressive there is the fact that it was Gallardo running over the top of it all. You know, they've got real width about them today. You know, the fullbacks can do it. We saw Herrera, you know, one of the 3 in midfield, getting to the byline. We know that Lozano will. He's working out wide to start with. Anyway, we'll break off because just for the moment the ball is with Paul and Szymanski. Was he hauled down? Looked like he was. And the referee's got his yellow card out. He has to haul Lozano out of the way to eventually show it to Sanchez. No great attempt to play the ball. But it's
not a yellow card.
No, it's too much that.
I think the Poland player, John, tries to push him off and falls over.
Yeah, I mean, it's a free kick. I think they've been overzealous with the cards in this tournament. At some point, somebody's really going to pay for that, aren't they? And pick up a second yellow.
Got 8.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, they're really overdoing it. They could end up spoiling the tournament here, just overdoing it. Anyway, 29 minutes gone. It's a free kick for Poland. On the left-hand side, not quite a short corner or anything. There's an angle to play the ball into the box, though. There won't be a shot. So they'll be divvying up who's going to mark who. Like we said, Montes will be trying to mark everybody, although Moreno's 6'1" as well. And it'll be who wins the first ball. Can Mexico then clear the knockdown? But they've got targets to hit. Lewandowski, Krychowiak, Kiwior, Glick and Berezinski. All big lads, all in the mix at the moment. All waiting for the ball. And waiting for the referee to blow his whistle. Chris Beath, the Australian. And the ball comes in. It's a good defensive header away from Moreno. And it's important that they do that. It wasn't a great angle for that, because if you're a defender, you want the ball coming towards you and head it away, and they managed to do that comfortably. It's more from crosses and, you know, with a bit of width that they're going to be in trouble, as Matty Cash has got quite a long throw, hasn't he? And he's about to launch one in. He's just about parallel with the edge of the box. Can he deliver now? He loops one in. It's not a great flat delivery. In fact, he didn't bother. The ball back with Poland now. And just playing their way back as percentage ball played through the box. You know, okay, they've got Lewandowski, but they need a bit more thought and imagination in the middle of the park, Tom.
It was a breakdown in communication that Lewandowski thought Zalewski was coming in behind him, so Lewandowski went to the penalty spot. And you can tell by his body language, when he turned round, he was like, oh, that was mine, wasn't it? He's got the thumb up to say, yeah, good ball, I should have reacted. And a breakdown there, but yeah, as you say, it looked like it lacked thought. Weirdly, it was as if Lewandowski took the blame for it.
Yep, well, it's a team game, isn't it? And if he was to blame, then so be it, but it just looked like a bad ball to me. Anyway, ball contested in the middle of the park. Mexico win it to L3. The tricolours are doing all right today. Mexico, I wouldn't like to say where the points are going, as Vega pops up on the right-hand side now, having started on the left. He'd had maybe the best chance with that header. He just went wide of the goal. And then after that, Gallardo came barrelling round the back, and a good save from him. As, Matty Cash breaks forward, but runs out of talent before he gets into the final third. And as the ball taken away from him, 32 minutes gone, Mexico 0, Poland 0. And so far, the World Cup's been really good in terms of the football that's been served. I just wondered whether we're going to get, you know, one of them games that's ruined by it being too hot or something, particularly if they've got to play for 110 minutes. Anyway, also I think it just might catch up with some of the players too, as the lines are cleared by Sanchez toward the halfway line, and it'll be a Polish throw, I would have thought. Anyway, no, it isn't. Mexico made ground up that right-hand side. Sanchez takes the throw. Early doors, I'm not sure that I've necessarily seen anybody, I think, win it yet. I was impressed by England, but I'd equally say that Iran's performance was the limpest and lamest we've seen of the tournament so far. When everybody's come out all guns a-blazing, Iran were kind of a bit defensive-minded and on the back foot. Maybe that's because England were good. Vega picks the ball up now. Little flick from him. He's got way too much on that. Just too much adrenaline, isn't there? You know, looking for Henry Martin, but never going to find it. Chesney comes out.
Yeah, again, I like the idea of just trying something a bit different. You know, not always going sideways with it and then crossing it, gesturing that was what you were going to do, and then last second, just dinking it over the top. Poland trying something a bit different here with a long ball forward, but it's returned straight back to centre. But it was recovered infield by Poland again. Yeah,
Krychowiak on it now. Got their hair in the ponytail. Plays for Al Shabab, but nowadays we used to see him ply his trade in La Liga, with Valencia, and then Sevilla as well, I think, in his career. Had a good career, hasn't he? I think for somebody of his, I mean, he's a holding midfielder. It's never the most glamorous of roles, is it? But I guess he's fulfilled that role fairly well. He's the enforcer in the middle. The bone cruncher is a long ball. It just goes over the head of Montes. He can leave it to his keeper, Ochoa. I can understand why Poland are thinking, well, maybe Tippy-Tappy's not their ideal today. But keep launching a thoughtless long ball over the top. It's like football back in the 70s, isn't it? They're not playing on a mud bath here. They're playing on a beautiful bowling green. And I think they need to just mix it up a little bit more. Have a bit more faith in their passing ability. Anyway, we need to see Piotr Zielinski on the ball a little bit more as well. I feel they're not just a one-man team. Zielinski's got goals and he's got talent. They don't seem to be looking for him just yet. And for Mexico, I think they're playing fine.
He's probably the most quietest player on the pitch apart from Henry Martin. So the focal point of Mexico's attack's the quietest. But because of Lozano, Alvarez, they've looked pretty classy. And I think, as you said right at the start, Lewandowski relies on his team. He cannot do it all on his own. He's not a player that goes to receive the ball, make a 20-30 yard run and then shot. You feed him, then he will score goals. He's the opposite to Ronaldo and Messi, some of these players that are one-man teams.
Well, he's no Diego Costa, is he? Let's face it. Yeah. Anyway, Mexico 0, Poland 0, 35 minutes gone. It's been a good game, but not great. Kiwior finds a ball to Glick, prodded forward then by the Benevento man, who then gets it back. Then Berezinski, who's back three, just finding each other as Krychowiak comes short, but the ball goes left for Zalewski. Little half turn from him, but well spotted by Lozano, not making that much ground down that flank, down the Polish left. So maybe Matty Cash has got a bit more room to run into down his right-hand side. But even then, Gallardo still looks good. Got a good long career, the Monterrey man, and showing no signs of slowing down at all. Game's just gone a little bit quiet, but the stadium is pretty full, and both the Mexican fans and the Polish hearing their voices in the stadium as they're trying to support their two teams. Poland have been a sort of really a team that I think exasperate their own fans. We should know, we got big Polish Paul in the office, usually throws his hands up when you mention Poland, but they can be great as well. They've got a bit of defending to do now. Ball aimed at Vega again. So it's the little guys running through. This time Gallardo couldn't find him. I like the intent though. Gallardo's ball is not inch perfect, but I like the fact that Vega keeps bombing into the box. Martin and Lozano, they've got an ambition to get there and make up numbers into the opposition box.
Yeah, the last two chances have been created by overloads, haven't they? Down the line to Herrera, who crossed it in. Mexico had managed to get the beat on the Polish defender, who eventually caught up. But yeah, so far so good. It is a case of these two teams cancelling each other out. Now and again we see that glimmer of class from either side. I think my main observation is how quiet they've kept Lewandowski, whether it be Poland not doing enough or Mexico have marked him out of the game. Poland will not have a great chance of getting anything unless that man is heavily involved. The same for Zielinski. They have to change things at the break in that respect. At the same time, it's not as if they've been under the cosh.
No, exactly that. Yeah, clash of styles, we would say.
Yeah, I think everything you said at the start has been correct. It is quite... we don't know how it's going to pan out. Clash of styles is how it looks, and that's how it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. I think Mexico look like they've got the wide out sorted. Poland have got to try and sort of ram raid through the middle, which is not as easy said than done. I think the Mexico team shifts from one side to the other depending on what they're doing, and they don't seem to leave gaps. I like it. Often wonder about teams who want to play narrow and what that achieves. Anyway, for the moment, Gallardo on the ball. This goes back to Moreno, and Poland just drifting back into their own half. Already the Polish boys looking a little bit tired. It's been all action, and they've really got nothing for it. I expect Mexico to cope with the heat a little bit better. Oft times they look decent in a tournament and then just don't quite go through with it, Mexico. But maybe this time around it's going to be slightly different. Maybe in the heat that they're at, this temperature may just suit their game down to the ground. But they're going to need to find a route to goal, and for the moment it's all been blocked off. They probably had the best chance with that Vega header. And yeah, they've probably just snuck this half. Ball in the box here over the head of Martin. Back to Lozano into the box. He goes a chance. He rolls the ball across, and I thought he might have gone for broke there and had a shot. In the end, it's been cleared away by a Polish body. But could Lozano have done a little bit better for you, Tom?
Do you know what? I don't mind the idea. He goes low and hard. He sees Hector Herrera. I think he's trying to catch them out. I think he tries to, if he goes across the face right in front of the keeper, I think he's cutting it out, is Szczesny. Yeah, that wasn't too bad for me. Good first touch as well, shows that class.
Again, and he found himself by himself. They've got overloads on the flank all the time, seemingly, as they take the corner kick. A very clever one to the 16, Herrera, who stood deep. Vega now on the ball, looking to work at the edge of the area. He is held up. He's able to just skip away from his marker, Zielinski. As Herrera now just the edge of the area, thinking about the strike. Then we just hustled and harried and couldn't get the ball away, and then the ball goes all the way back. That's terrible, really. To Ochoa, 37 years young, 132 caps he's got today, and maybe a few more to come. Anyway, long raking ball. Lozano saying that should have been for me. Herrera saying, I know, I just got it wrong. Simple as that, really. But I think Gerardo Martin will be fairly happy. If he is, needs to tell his face that, but he looks intent on what's going on. Arms folded across his chest in a sort of defensive gesture, but I think that his team have been pretty good the first half. They've, as Tom has said, kept Lewandowski at bay, but also managed to get their own goal forward, get something going and create bits and pieces. Anyway, header one in the middle of the park by Poland, and Szymanski, the Feyenoord man's been quiet, and almost immediately the ball won back by Mexico, floated out again to Lozano, headed away by Bereszynski, and now Poland can try and make a break. Bartosz Bereszynski doing well initially, and then the ball given away. Bereszynski again into the middle of Szymanski, now able to turn, and the ball breaks off left-hand side, but in the end nobody can get on the end of that, and so ball rolls out harmlessly. If you hold on to the ball long enough, you're certain to get a challenge in this game, and it's been real hard work for both the two teams the first half. Anyway, throwing down for Sanchez for Mexico. Little flick on for Henry Martin, who at 5'10" shouldn't be winning those, but has got a good spring about him. Next ball won by Montes, and then Mexico have it in the middle of the park. And a little step forward from Alvarez, but he wanted too long. And then Krychowiak on the ball, waits for the challenge that comes in. He's shoved in the back, and that's an obvious free kick from Lozano. So, 42 minutes gone, 0-0. I think Mexico have shaded this first half, but there's so little in it. It's hard to say, really.
Yeah, but minor tweaks are needed, aren't they? Said it all game long. It hasn't improved. Zielinski, you would happily say he's not playing. He's on the team sheet. He could be forgiven to think if he's walked off the pitch, you just wouldn't know. We barely had to mention it. Lewandowski is obviously a central figure of the attack. He just headed it back inside, but nobody in white colours made a run towards the ball. That needs tweaking, and I mean, Martin is up front now. Whether they're keeping a close eye on him, but I think maybe another option through the middle for Mexico could unlock the door as well.
Sometimes I think it's a bit of a misnomer that the striker's got to be seen to be doing stuff. Sometimes if he's dragging players away to punch holes for others. Lozano on the ball now. He cuts inside the first challenge. Bereszynski keeps up to the challenge. There's a good ball then into the box. They go. Ball scraped in, and it's headed away from Szczesny, but by his own man. Surely there they didn't communicate particularly well. I guess the main thing is though that Szymanski got across and did what he needed to do. In fact, no, it was Bereszynski. Of course it was. Just signs of panic and miscommunication there for Poland.
No need for it at all. It wasn't a dangerous situation, but it's got to do better. A player of 100 caps today, you'd like to think he should know as well.
Anyway, again, Gallardo trying to work it to Vega. Then Vega wins the ball back. He's done really well here. And now he straightens up a little heel, buys himself some time, lays the ball back to Gallardo. And then into the middle of the park with Chavez, who's been quiet today. Ball back out right to Lozano, who hasn't. Always looking for it out the right-hand side. This time he puts the ball back on his inside. Anyway, ball sort of defended at the edge of the box. Back to Lozano, though. Chance for a cross. Cross comes in. Headed up in the air by Krychowiak. Chance for a strike. And the strike is there from Vega. Blocked away at source, though. So again, Mexico getting bodies in and around the box. They're loading it up. They might be a small team, but they're gutsy. and they don't mind flinging the ball into the box. It was a good ball in initially from Lozano, who picks it up again, right-hand side. He's been their best player. He drives in this time, gets the ball into the box. Was he checked there just before he came for the strike? Shot comes in, and it's just tipped over the top. In the end, the ball from Sanchez. I wonder there, I was thinking maybe a penalty, but there wasn't much demonstration about the way that Lozano went down in the end. But a little give and go. Was he blocked off before the box? They ended up getting a shot away, didn't they?
First shot on target. First shot on target, halfway into the match. I like it. He looked across and thought, I can't cross it. There's nobody there, so let's see what I can do.
Yeah, it was all right. That tried to stuff it in the post. Now they've got a corner kick. Vega takes it. It's a little heel at the front post, and then Szczesny comes for it. Clever heel from Moreno. But and you're just buying a ticket, aren't you, with that? You don't know where it's going. But in the end, Poland get lucky because it loops up into Szczesny's hands. Wow, 2 minutes of added time. Ray!
I think I've gone back to the Premier League.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. Not at all.
Well, the ball is... Well, you made the point earlier. They're not taking their time with anything. Any free kicks being taken quickly.
They did have a clash of heads.
Yeah, but they were up after... They were up quite quickly.
Yeah, I was expecting 4 minutes because they had a clash of heads. No rhyme or reason to it.
Well, you'll wait till you see what full time is.
Yeah, 18 minutes. Right, in the middle of the park, it's Mexico on the ball again. Vega's been involved. He runs into a challenge, but he fends his man off there. Kaminski's had a quiet game. Again, Lozano on the ball. Again, it's an early crossing. Their bodies in the box, but headed away by Mati Cash. Ball drops again for Mexico, and again Lozano on the ball. He's held up by Bereszynski, but finds a ball in the inside. The attempted shot from Chavez was hopeful at best. That was blocked away at source. The ball back with Montes. There's no doubt Mexico have been the better of the two teams. The only team to have a shot on target in this first half. They've backed themselves, though. They're 4-3-3 today, and the three going forward. Lozano's caught the eye on the right-hand side. Vega keeps on going. He's popping up everywhere. The quietest of the bunch is Martin, but is he drawing centre-backs away? Is he making gaps for others? Difficult to say because I'm not really watching what he does. I've got my eye on him now as the ball again aimed at the edge of the area. Again, it's a decent header away. It was Sanchez in the box waiting for the ball this time. Martin tries to hurry up Bereszynski, and he ends up able to clear his lines, but again the ball comes back, and this time Poland used their strength, but then a pocket is picked. Mexico come back out with the ball. Herrera takes it away. Sanchez was getting involved there. He was on the overlap down the right-hand side, but the referee has seen enough now, and so at the break it is Mexico 0, Poland 0.
Half-time between Mexico and Poland in the game in Group C had very little action. Took 44.5 minutes for the first shot on target. That doesn't mean to say, though, there's not been any intent. first shot on target. That doesn't mean to say, though, there's not been any intent. Poland had themselves on the back foot. Moreno heading over, Vega heading wide. That was 12 minutes 26 before right back Jorge Sanchez saw his effort saved by Szczesny. So Poland needs to do more to bring Lewandowski into the game. As it stands, though, I don't think either side were too disappointed. 0-0 at the break. Time between Mexico and Poland in the game in Group C had very little action. Took 44.5 minutes for the first shot on target. That doesn't mean to say, though, there's not been any intent. Poland had themselves on the back foot. Moreno heading over, Vega heading wide. That was 12 minutes 26 before right back Jorge Sanchez saw his effort saved by Szczesny. So Poland needs to do more to bring Lewandowski into the game. As it stands, though, I don't think either side were too disappointed. 0-0 at the break. Time between Mexico and Poland in the game in Group C had very little action. Took 44.5 minutes for the first shot on target. That doesn't mean to say, though, there's not been any intent. Poland had themselves on the back foot. Moreno heading over, Vega heading wide. That was 12 minutes 26 before right back Jorge Sanchez saw his effort saved by Szczesny. So Poland needs to do more to bring Lewandowski into the game. As it stands, though, I don't think either side were too disappointed. 0-0 at the break. Time between Mexico and Poland in the game in Group C had very little action. Took 44.5 minutes for the first shot on target. That doesn't mean to say, though, there's not been any intent. Poland had themselves on the back foot. Moreno heading over, Vega heading wide. That was 12 minutes 26 before right back Jorge Sanchez saw his effort saved by Szczesny. So Poland needs to do more to bring Lewandowski into the game. As it stands, though, I don't think either side were too disappointed. 0-0 at the break. Time between Mexico and Poland in the game in Group C had very little action. Took 44.5 minutes for the first shot on target. That doesn't mean to say, though, there's not been any intent. Poland had themselves on the back foot. Moreno heading over, Vega heading wide. That was 12 minutes 26 before right back Jorge Sanchez saw his effort saved by Szczesny. So Poland needs to do more to bring Lewandowski into the game. As it stands, though, I don't think either side were too disappointed. 0-0 at the break. Time between Mexico and Poland in the game in Group C had very little action. Took 44.5 minutes for the...
Welcome back then to our coverage of the encounter between Mexico and Poland. We have had a change at the interval as Zalewski, the left back, replaced by Bielik at the break. Whether that's an injury or tactical, we will soon find out. Myself, Tom Hill and John Hogan on the coverage for you. Mexico go with Ochoa, Gallardo, Moreno and Montes. It is then Sanchez. Midfield is Chavez, Alvarez and Herrera. Vega, Martin, Lozano, the front three. As for Poland, it is Szczesny, Berezynski, Glick, Kuyal, Bielik, Szymanski, Kryowiak, Kaminski and Cash, Zielinski and Lewandowski are supposed to be the front two. That didn't pan out though, and it was more of a 4-4. It was more of a 1-1, wasn't it, in the first half? Zielinski tried to play off Lewandowski. Didn't really work, but the change might help them, John. We will see what he can bring to the party. But a rather steady first half. Not really much to get excited about. The intent was there. It's not as if either team are playing for a draw, but yeah, if you want to get excited.
Yeah, not much. Well, if you're Polish, not much to get excited for. I just had a word with Polish Paul, who shrugged his shoulders. He's not a big fan of their manager, and he's thinking, well, where's the style? I think that something had to change. They brought Bielik on for Zalewski, who he was neither here nor there, was he? But listen, he's not on his own, because if you think about the amount of times we mentioned Kaminski first half as well, so their midfield left a lot to be desired. They've got these guys up top, but we talked about Zielinski having a quiet game. Lewandowski is showing for the ball, but they're trying to force it to him too much all the time. I think they've got to build up, play and be patient. You can't just fling the ball straight at Lewandowski and, ping it over his shoulder and hope that somehow he's going to drag every ball down and score a goal. Just impossible to do that. So I think at the moment just too much on his shoulders. This group blown wide apart by that Saudi win over Argentina. So if Poland can get through this half, maybe score a header with a set piece, something like that, they'll be fair to get through the group. They really will. But at the moment, it's hard to make a big case for them. I think I'd rather be with Mexico at the minute.
Yeah, I thought a real lack of creativeness from Poland was quite a surprise. I thought they were trying to take the game to them. I said right at the start, will that Saudi Arabia win change things? I'd be going for this. This is a chance to really set yourself on the front foot. You put Argentina, and whoever loses this, towards the bottom. You can really push yourself towards qualification. I know it's a World Cup. There is 2 more games to come. You've got to try and plan your way through this tournament, but we shall see where they go. I just think a bit more creative spark. I think Mexico maybe will just keep things as they are.
I think that for me, Argentina will be watching it, hoping for a draw. They don't want that team getting away. I mean, the Saudis now be looking at it thinking, well, maybe if we get a draw in one of the next 2 games, then that might be enough. Certainly 2 draws would be. It's left Argentina vulnerable in the group, but they could come on win the next 2 games. For Poland, it's wrapped up here, nicking a goal and then beating the Saudis. It's as simple as that, really. That's the easy route through the group. You don't want to get anything against Argentina, who will be certainly stung by what's happened to them today.
Certainly will. They've got a free kick here for a foul on Lewandowski, albeit it looked a little soft, but a nudge in the back was given. Poland now prepare themselves for this attacking set piece. It is taken by Zielinski right to the far post, way overhit towards Guillermo Ochoa, who's got his arms out. I could understand the idea once I saw the runner at the far post, but only having one runner makes life tough, and the fact you are 10 yards away with the pass makes life even tougher.
It doesn't make a great deal of sense to me. I think percentage play when you've got a load of big men in. Well, where are most of my big men? I'll aim the ball somewhere near them. It's all right saying, I'll put it pinpoint on his head. But if you're going far post like that, you only got one man to find. It's more difficult. And also the ball's flying through. We know what happens to it. It goes straight out. Just brainless stuff from Zielinski, who he's a good player, but he ain't shown any of that today, is he? He's not getting on the ball, and then when he does, he's not doing anything with it. So he needs to pick himself up. I've watched him play at times thinking, what is he like? And then, all of a sudden he turns it on. So I wouldn't, say, get him off. But somehow he needs to frame himself. If it's too much for him, it's the World Cup, and whoever you are, it could end up landing on your shoulders and feeling like a weight rather than something to be enjoyed. And he's playing like that at the minute.
Mexico in possession, 0-0 at the start of this second half. 51 minutes gone. Hector Herrera goes forward, but then straight backwards to his defence. It's Montes going further wide towards Hector Moreno. Inside into midfield, and Poland not walking, but no real pressure on Edson Alvarez. If he's allowed the licence to roam across midfield and pick his passes, it could be a decision that they are made to rue. As Mexico come forward, good turn from Lozano, trying to twist and turn his way forward. Now scoops the ball up in behind, an opportunity to cross the ball in. It's blocked at the edge of the box. It'll be a corner.
There's more energy from Mexico. I'm sure if we looked at the stats for distances run, Mexico will outdo them by a fair distance. That was a good attempt to get round the back, and again the box absolutely loaded, and now they've got a corner kick, which again they might take short, they might not, but they're mixing it up today.
Taken in towards the near post. Chesney comes across, gets a punch to it, a good punch as well, just ahead of the lunging Mexican defender that was coming forward. Here is Vega, lays it back into the middle of midfield, and that's going to allow Gallardo to work it further wide. Now Lozano running at Cash. It's an opportunity for him to target the Aston Villa man. He turns away, he's going to come inside, he's going to go for goal. Chesney watches it all the way. Decent effort, it's on target again. But they just seem to have a bit more zest about them, don't they?
Yeah, it's more ambition. They're working harder. The harder you work, they say, it was Martini was diving for that ball that Szczesny just got away, but he dived in front of him. They're always going to lose that battle about height, but the more ball they throw in the box, you never know. If one just lands on a dime, somebody heads it in. They've not given up the hope of doing that, even though they're up against the sort of land of the Giants team. So it's a good effort from them. And the Polish attacks it's been a little bit of one-out football, hasn't it? They're expecting Magikov, Lewandowski to nick a goal, and they might do that, but it looks less obvious.
The ball is played out for a throw. Mexico will take it. 4 minutes ticking by franticness that I think Poland fans would want. You would forgive them, wouldn't you? I mean, Lewandowski, according to the stats, has made 3 passes. He's the focal point of the attack. He gets so much service. I know he plays for a much better club than others, in terms of he's the main man at Bayern. He's now the main man at Barcelona. But you would think you bring it all back, just break off, because they've now given the wall away. Lewandowski turns into traffic, trying to wrestle the ball back, still going, goes down in the box. Referee says nothing in it. He said it's a 50-50. They've both brought each other down. VAR will check it, but Mexico play themselves into trouble. Strong challenge. They nearly do it again and get away with it this time, as the ball is dug out and over the top. Martin will chase. Cash heads clear only as far as Vega, though, who tries to get it back. Free kick given. Ooh. That looked like a pretty soft call, John.
Yeah, there was a funny one to give when there was all sorts going on. They're looking at the Lewandowski thing again. Was there a handball in the box? I tell you what, when it came to it, Moreno had to be strong, the Ajax man. Lewandowski's barreling through him. And then the keeper comes out, Ochoa, and rather than diving head first to pick up the ball and being brave, he tries to chop it with his feet. I didn't think it was good goalkeeping at all, but I didn't think there was a foul in there either. They are checking the possible penalty now, and maybe they'll call the referee across, and if they do, that always tends to signal a goal. But
unless it's Denmark, Tunisia.
Yeah. Where they brought him across, and he went, yeah, I was right there in the first place. Anyway, our referee today is Chris Beath, an Australian no-nonsense referee. He didn't think it was. I mean, looked at it again, I didn't think it was either. We take another look. I just don't think that Lewandowski gets the right side of Moreno, who's within his rights to scrap with him. They go shoulder to shoulder. Anyway, he's been called to take a look at it. I still don't think it is.
He's got a good hole in Lewandowski's shirt, but Lewandowski then pushes him over.
Well, they might argue, first foul. I'm just saying his arm comes across. He's trying, you try and get goal side of your man. Did he have hold of this shirt for long enough? From behind the goal, we see a different angle where it looks like he's grabbed hold of his shirt for more than a second, which could make it a penalty kick, more so than the other angles that we've seen. If John Stones is a penalty, that is.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 looks at it. This is the best angle of it, in fairness. It is the only angle they've shown the referee there, which is quite contentious. The referee now steps back onto the pitch. Poland's bench awaits and waits their breath, and penalty is given. Yellow card is handed out to Hector Moreno, and Robert Lewandowski has the chance to put Poland in the lead.
Well, I tell you what, it's only a penalty from that one angle, isn't it? And he showed that 3 times. How about showing us the rest of it, the different angles
I'm
for
not
the...
sure about that.
I think it looks like he had hold of his short, out of his shirt. I see it from a different angle now. He's got a full grab on his shirt. If you hold onto the shirt for more than a second, I think expect a penalty in this. If we know that, and we saw John Stones do it yesterday, things haven't changed for Moreno, have they?
I want to see it again in replay with then the reaction. I mean, Lewandowski just in a second reaction now, and he has got his arms up. But when he first went to the ground, he didn't go mental. He didn't.
No. I know what you mean. In real time, I think if you're looking for something, you tend to find it, and they did eventually. But that's having a right good look there. There was a little bit of a pull of the jersey though, and it is a penalty kick. All those things are true. Now, can Lewandowski make this one stick? This could be a goal that, will really catapult them in this group, where Saudi have already sprung that big shock. This group is wide open.
Yeah, Mexico 0, Poland 0 then. The scoreline, will that stay the same? Guillermo Ochoa, landmark World Cup for him to try and deny Robert Lewandowski. According to pretty much stats, has yet to score in this event. What a moment it would be for him. So one of the fans has got the phone out to film it, but then can't look.
The other one was crying. He hadn't kicked the ball yet.
So, nerve-wracking scene. Let's hope Robert Lewandowski can keep his cool. He normally does. He's taking 2 big, deep breaths. The referee now blows the whistle, and Lewandowski will have the chance. He starts his run-up. He arches it. It will be right-footed. Lewandowski saved by Ochoa on the rebound. It's scuffed. Shot comes in. Mexico still have work to do. Bodies flying in everywhere. We'll have to be so careful not to give another penalty away. Poland recover. It is with Cash, and he's twisting and turning. It's deflected. It's cleared away for a throw-in. Well, Robert Lewandowski with a spot kick. It wasn't a great effort. But Guillermo Ochoa, he makes a name for himself at the big tournaments. That fan that was so nervously crying a moment ago, he's not crying anymore.
That's weird, isn't it? He should be crying now. He was crying before it was took, and then he stopped crying. But hang on, mate, now's the time to cry. You've just had a penalty save. And I would say it's not a great penalty by Lewandowski, but it is a great save by Ochoa. Any penalty save he got there, he guessed right. You know, we're talking about the pressure on the players. You know, it's intense, isn't it? We could see that from the way the Polish fans reacted to that. But anyway, I don't know if justice done there necessarily will break off. Here comes Martin for Mexico.
Yeah, now on the attack, Lozano's picked up the pieces. Mexico trying to pick up the tempo. He's having his shirt pulled, but referee says nothing in it as it's back out towards Alvarez. He turns it around the corner and goes further wide. This time to Montes. And Montes back in defence as Herrera swings the cross in. Poland will clear Krikowiak, so Krikowiak at the near post. Now Ochoa gets the chance to fist pump and celebrate. And I mean, he is the real hero of Mexico's last few World Cups. He's made some great saves. He had that one game where he was just unbeatable, made so many really good saves to keep his team in a contest, and everyone remembers that crazy hairstyle as well. He still had a work to do. It is a penalty someone of his calibre should be saving as Mexico whip the ball in. Galic clears, but it'll fall out to Vega. His shot comes in, double block, no handballs. Vega wrestles it back though, he goes to ground. No penalty given by the officials. Poland though give it back. Vega climbs off the ground. It's going to be given as offside.
he was down on the deck there as soon as the ball got in, and he's flinging his hands up. Look, I've been injured and hurt in the box. It's a penalty. The next thing is up like a jacket in the box, looking at Chos. It's so strong, diving to his left hand side. You know, he goes a long way, and it's such a strong arm as well. You know, just brilliant. You know, that's not the worst penalty you're ever going to see. Just a really committed, great dive from Guillermo Ochoa. 37 years young. He'll be feeling even younger than that right now.
He certainly will. Lewandowski had his head in his hands immediately. Well, we saw crying at one end of the ground. Now the Mexican fans are crying at the other. Gerard Martino, one of his coaching staff, is getting booked for something.
I tell you what, it's weird, isn't it? You know, the Polish lad was crying even before the ball was struck. You know, then the penalty was saved, he stopped crying, and immediately the Mexican fan is crying because the penalty was saved. You're getting it all wrong. Anyway, don't know who's that, and the Mexican guy there just booked, just laughing at that.
Well, the fourth official, or one of the officials, has asked for his name, to which he showed her a blank side of the name badge, had a little laugh and a giggle. Now he's giving her it. He's, I mean, he must be 60-odd, that gentleman, and he's still got the humour of a 12-year-old. How about gone still 0-0?
I don't know how it is, but weirdly enough, in a way, I'm glad about that. I didn't think it was a penalty, and then we saw the little tug of the shirt. Listen, in slow-mo, they always make it look worse. The player gone barreling down there after he challenged Lozano. I don't know who that is. It's a Polish player. And whether, I mean, it's not a head injury, so play can carry on. It doesn't seem right that the ball's not put out of play. And thankfully, Gallardo does that. Berezinski's down, and he looks hurt. There'd be no reason for him to be play acting, and he did get caught there by Lozano. And I don't think that was spotted by the referee. I don't think there was any great, intent to hurt him. But this, I mean, we may be 0-0, but what I want to see, they want to be wows and drama, and well, we've just had that. You know, Ochoa will be feeling 10 foot tall. The Mexican fans have played their get out of jail card already. You know, and that could be pivotal in them moving on in the tournament. We don't know. But it's really significant to what we've just seen. And who could believe that Lewandowski couldn't put his spot kick away? Wowee. So it remains Mexico 0, Poland 0. 62 minutes on the clock. The ball back at the feet of Ochoa. A lot going on. Weirdly, not much happening right now, other than people crying in the stands for various reasons.
I think we're getting our breath back, aren't we? It's a case of, right, let's reset. It's chaotic scenes. Poland don't want to lose any foothold in the game. They had a good chance, and this is fine margins. We are going to get this as the groups unfold. We're only in day 3 of the World Cup as Poland play the ball off the back of a Mexican player, and Wojciech Szczesny for a sec. I thought he was just going to go out for a goal kick, and then it started to curl towards goal. But yeah, I mean, it's right though, isn't it? You get a penalty, you think, right, Lewandowski, fair enough. I think the graphic could be he's missed one for his country. That has now changed, and you say, John, replay showed I have seen much worse penalties than that. It wasn't the best in terms of could he have gone for more power? Yes, but it was low. It was relatively in the corner. It was just a decent height for a keeper, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's on target. You know, if it goes in, he dives the other way, we say it's a good penalty. He's probably going inside netting. You know what I mean? It's not the worst you're ever going to see. It's just a really good save.
The ball played out to the left, and here is Gallardo for Mexico. He brings it down beautifully well. 64 minutes gone. Mexico 0, Poland 0. Hector Herrera is in the middle of the park and now laid it in towards Edson Alvarez. He goes for goal, header towards goal. What a save by Szczesny. Well, we've not mentioned Henry Martin because he's quite simply done nothing. This time he glides across the box, flicks his head at the ball, and Szczesny, well, fair play to Wozniak Szczesny. A little glancing header, and he has to just adjust. It isn't too far away from him, but just the reaction speed and just the tempo. Everything Mexico seems to be doing is a level above and a pace above Poland, and yet here we are 0-0, John.
Yeah, I mean, that's really clever from Henry Martin. He just spots the shot coming. If I get something on that, you know, and he does. In the end, he'd wish he got a bit more on it because Szczesny's just able to get to it. If he gets a thicker connection, then he's probably one of those slip catches that gets put down. But it was a decent shot from Alvarez, but the keeper had it covered. But then that deflection very nearly took it in, and that made it a really good save from Wojciech Szczesny.
Poland have a throw in into the hands of Bielik. Now back they go through the middle. That's a better back heel. Now successive back heels. Bielik's going towards the byline. He's just trolling the ball a little. Allowed Mexico to come across. They've just about kept it in. It's good work from Jorge Sanchez. He wins a free kick, or yeah, I thought he should do. He's rolling around on the floor, but all while doing so looking at the referee to make sure he's got the call. And El Tri are still at 0-0. Guillermo Ochoa, he's trying to suggest to quicken things up. See what I did do? He made a little shimmy to his right first.
Yeah, I love it. I love it because at the time that Lewandowski was looking up, he sees Ochoa shaped to his right, and then he readjusts and goes left. So he set the tone of that. He set the terms of the encounter. And Lewandowski's bought what he's selling there. And he's brilliant, that. Absolutely brilliant. You know, just at the time Lewandowski's looking up, it's bang, he's just fainting at the right time. And then he moves the other way. And he's still a brilliant save. But watching that now, just seeing him set the terms of engagement, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I do enjoy that sort of tussle, but it's a keeper versus the striker, one of the best in the world as well. As down the line, Vega prods it into the path of Gallardo to the near post. It's still in the penalty area. They just can't get hold of it. It was Martin trying to turn the defender out to Vega. Space to shoot. He lays it out towards the right-hand side for Sanchez. Here is Lozano. 66 minutes gone. Lozano turns back on himself to Vega. He's going to go for goal. I don't mind the fact it's something a bit different. I do mind the execution.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I was just thinking, I can imagine Mexico pinging one in from the edge of the box. It just wasn't that one, was it? You know, adrenaline caught hold of him there, and then caught hold of the ball and sent it into the crowd. But I'm buying tickets for Mexico today. I think they look really good. They're bristling with ambition. Work rate is still there. You know, Poland have looked really sluggish and leggy, and they have a look of a team who might get beaten, but they've still got that X factor in terms of the height that they've got, set pieces, and that key man Lewandowski.
Down the line up towards Lewandowski. He will try and play in a teammate. He rolls it to the left-hand side. He wanted to return past the Poland player, late roll beyond him. Maybe a decision that they will regret. It was Zimanski. He's tried to recover it, hasn't done so, and Mexico will clear. Just by the way, Robert Lewandowski has now missed his last 2 penalties. He missed for Barcelona on the 5th of November against Almeria. He's still waiting a lifetime to score a World Cup goal. 10-time Bundesliga winner, one of Poland's best ever players. And considering the World Cups they have qualified for, he has yet to get a goal. As Matty Cash concedes a free kick in a good area, although as we said earlier and throughout, Mexico aren't exactly the most route-run team. And nearly halfway through this second half, we'll see if it was a worthy free kick. Yes, he just trod on the inside of the foot. It's going to hurt. I don't think it was intentional, though.
Yeah, he's just rugged and sloppy, really. Yeah, Matty Cash not having a great game.
I like how he says how.
How?
You stood on his foot and he fell over.
Yeah, that's it. That'll be how. That'll work every time for me. But Yeah, from the moment he's been selected by Poland, I think his form has actually gone south a little bit, to be honest with you. But anyway, he remains a good player, but he's given away a free kick.
Yeah, so Vega, the right-footed option. There is a left-footed option nearby as well, as Mexico will use it. It's fizzed in by Gallardo. Decent delivery, headed away. I think that will be a goal kick. And the referee, in fact, no, says, well, there's a bit real confusion. The referee pointed to the corner. I think he's trying to say to the linesman he gave the goal kick. I think the referee's maybe messed up his hand signals there as Krychowiak down with a facial injury. Did get a stray arm. That is us halfway through the second half, so John can take us through to full time. Subs could be probably will be the decisive factor here, and here we are. How timely.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to see Raul Jimenez come on now. So they'll have a bit of height about them. It's difficult watching Jimenez. He really not really played this season for Wolves, has he? Krychowiak gets a shove in the back from Vega, and that's an obvious free kick. I was thinking they've been going so well. It looks to me like Poland are the ones who need fresh legs out there. Anyway, we saw Bielik come on at half-time for Poland. We've not mentioned him. We literally have not mentioned Christian Bielik once I can remember, apart from he's on. So he needs to do a little bit better. They've got players on the bench who can do something, but anyway, we're yet to see him, but we are about to see the real number 9 come on. I guess that Henry Martin will be the man who makes way for him. Ochoa just calming things down now. I don't know why in this tournament where you see players rolled out, you're waiting to make a change, they seem to never quite work out. Why can't they get the subs on more quickly is the long and short of that. As we see a challenge in the middle of the park, and Herrera brought down. And so it just allows Mexico a chance to play out again with Chavez, who I think will be looking over his shoulder. He'd been quiet to Martin sticking a leg out, but Kiwior, the Spezia man, has just got the right side of him there. So Rodriguez and Raul Jimenez about to come on, and 16 Hector Herrera. I'm surprised he's going off. I think he's had a good game, although he's get a bit long in the tooth, isn't he?
Is that an age and a fitness thing? Get the fresh legs for Rodriguez into midfield.
So
Martin changed, no surprise.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Carlos Rodriguez then. And like we said, Henry Martin had done fairly well, flinging himself about, dragging players away, but he's not a target. And I don't know if I said something wrong then, but Tom's getting excited. But you can borrow mine in a sec. So Raul Jimenez, we know he's a class act. He's 6'4", big guy. We're going to see a change now as well, as Frankowski is going to come on, and Szymanski. We haven't mentioned him really. We haven't mentioned Kaminski. Krychowiak said his usual strong game, putting himself about. But listen, Zielinski has not done anything. So, I just think they could have taken off anybody. Anyway, Frankowski is on, and we'll see what he can bring to the party, if anything. But they look weak in the middle of the park, I think, Poland. As we just see Lewandowski go up for a ball, and in the end he catches one, just swinging an arm there. The new man, Carlos Rodriguez, caught him, and it will be a free kick then for Poland, who remain a very tall team. Can they utilise that? Only if they get the right ball in. Piotr Zielinski's crosses have been rubbish so far. Can he get one right? Anyway, here we go. Long ball flung in, and it's come off the head of Kiwior, and that means it's going to be a goal kick. Again, he didn't really have an angle on that, and I don't know if they should have looked for something better than just slinging the ball in the mixer there. It's dead average from Poland so far today.
Yeah, it really is. Again, I was thinking earlier before I had to break off from the point I was going to make, because we had a Mexico chance, but clearly Poland's coach has got something about him to engineer them to get to where they've got. it can't be totally useless. I can sit here and say they should do this, you should do that, but you do wonder and think, you're at a World Cup, what's your best game plan? Your best game plan has to get your best player on the ball as much as possible. Not to the point where you're predictable, but for him to have 3 passes in the first half and he's your main striker, that suggests you've got a feed problem. You're not feeding him the ball enough. Can you change that in the second half? The answer is no. Yes, he got a penalty, but it was by a clumsy challenge. I think he'll get the blame for the penalty miss, but creativity-wise, he's had nothing at all.
No, I think the balance of the team is wrong. I don't like a back 3 up against a forward 3 anyway. I know Krychowiak gets back as the insurance, and he actually played his part today. But we haven't seen Matikash bombing forward. We haven't seen Zaleski bomb forward. Are they really a back 5? And that was up against the teeny tiny striker. But here, Poland break forward. Was there a foul in the middle of the park there? Anyway, the ball has been deflected out, and it will at least be a corner kick. Just looking in the middle, Kaminski, who, as I've said, we've hardly mentioned him, was running through there. He wants to go down too easily there. There's a little bit of contact with Gallardo, but I'm thinking, keep your feet, mate. And if the ball comes in, hit it into the back of the net. Don't, I'll fling myself to the ground. He's never going to win a penalty for that. Anyway, it's a corner kick. So, it is desperate. But they've got a corner. We've said they're a big, tall team. Can they get it right? Ball comes in, headed away near post by the big man. If they've got somebody 6'4" in there, you've got to try and knock it around him. Jimenez is the man to miss then, because even though Montes is 6'5", there's nobody on the field better in the air than Raul Jimenez right now. So, simple stuff, really. Poland been terrible, but they still could get away with it. 3 points here. The ball won high up the field there as, again, Poland trying to make some ground, but they're just running up against a brick wall today. They're just going nowhere fast as Mexico have the ball. If the game ended now and we had to decide on points who was the winner, it would be Mexico. Unfortunately for the Mexicans, it doesn't work like that. It's not a boxing match, and for the moment, both the respective teams have landed light jabs on each other rather than knockout blows.
I think as well as a free kick given here to Mexico for a foul on Sanchez, a bit of a late stick out of the leg by the new man on the pitch, who is Fromanski. I think it's a late one as well. I think the issue you've got here for Mexico is sometimes you've got to be critical at a World Cup, and I think if it stays like this, it's an opportunity miss, really. They've now got to get the ball into Jimenez, attack, really stretch this Poland defence, because they've just been too passive. I think they've gone for negative tactics. Did read earlier in their own, but Poland's original and initial World Cup games, they're quite, they concede, they're sloppy, it then ruins their chances. I think they've gone negative today to try and get a point, and that's shown.
Yeah, ball into the box though for Mexico. That's headed well away by Kamil Glik. Raul Jimenez started that move off, and then they had Gallardo on the overlap. The Monterrey man put a decent ball in, but when Jimenez has come outside the box, then there's nobody really to aim for. Anyway, we see Frankowski there just run into the brick wall. That is Cesar Montes, and then goes down holding his face. And he got a free kick for that. Didn't see that, he just ran into a brick wall himself there. Anyway, it is a Poland free kick. They're hanging on for grim life at the moment. Mikniewicz' team, they don't look good today, but they might still get away with 3 points. If Mexico are the better team, then they need to go prove it. The only way to do that is by putting in the back of the net. Jimenez nods it away from Krychowiak. I've liked Vega all the way through this, but that asking too much, that ball. Now the counter-attack is on with Frankowski, and then the ball played behind his man on the right-hand side, and just no chance to ever really get going. And that was Kaminski, who is on the right-hand side now. Brzezinski just dwells on the ball. He was caught late, but I think the Mexican man, Irving Lozano, hurt himself more than he hurt the opposition. There he goes down, just rubbing his ankle. And maybe he's need to get a bit of treatment. It's a bit of an owie, but let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, he was caught really late there, and that ought to have been a free kick. screen there, but that definitely hurts. Blood on the sock there, but anyway, we've got red socks here in Mexico. 0-0, 78 minutes gone. Lozano's still moaning there, but Bereszynski is still not doing anything other than handing the ball back to Mexico to pass back to the Polish keeper Szczesny. Anyway, the ball now with Kiwior, who launches a long ball, so long that it takes a bounce straight to the hands of Guillermo Ochoa. That's the key part of today's game, the penalty save from Ochoa, from Lewandowski. He was adjudged to have had his shirt pulled in the box by Hector Moreno. Undoubtedly he did, but it looked fairly innocuous, to be honest. And it's the kind of thing that if you look at it in slow-mo for long enough, you can convince yourself that it might be a penalty. Anyway, it was a more worthy penalty than that which was given for John Stones by the Uruguayan VAR ref in the England game. Soft penalty. And then I always wonder with those, because Tom by the side had made the point that Lewandowski didn't make any great big deal of the challenge on it, because he probably felt it was fair. And then after the fact, it's like, oh no, maybe I was fouled, and then VAR takes a long hard look at it. But when a player doesn't necessarily feel that they've deserved the penalty, oftentimes you find that the penalty kick, that if they're taking it, isn't a good one. I don't know what it is about human nature that maybe you feel, if he'd been dragged back and with having his shirt pulled off in the back, maybe you'd think, right, I'm going to show you for that. But that idea, it's the human nature that you maybe got something you didn't deserve. Perhaps you don't then hit the penalty with the authority that you should. Equally, we see a shot from range, and again it's little Alexis Vega, and again he's wide of the mark.
Chances because of the day, between the game like this,
Yes, right. Get back to the penalty. Maybe he didn't strike it with conviction, but equally Ochoa just as Lewandowski was looking up, he's running to the ball for the penalty, has a quick look at the keeper, who just shapes to move to his right. Then when he stopped looking at the keeper changed his whole weight and dives to the left. So we thought it was brilliant from Ochoa, and maybe just lacking a little bit. The penalty kick from Lewandowski wasn't the worst, at least it was on target. Anyway, Lozano closing down, but Bereszynski's trying to get a bit further forward. A bit more ambition here from Poland. Cash then on the overlap, what can he do? Tries to get the cross in, come off the toe end of Vega, and that's out for a corner. We're always saying it, but if you've got big guys in there, try and get down the flanks. If you're not getting the ball, at least you get the corner. It just presents a great opportunity.
It does. You've got, again, that's good questions. Got this set piece, you never know. Someone might make a foul on ball, head the wrong way. You've got to put the ball in the area, so that's the question. Poland have not done enough of that
Zielinski, ball comes in. Up got the heads. First header is in, then Krychowiak at the far post gets the shot in, blocked away. Now, they won the ball twice in the area there, Poland, but they still couldn't make it work. Now maybe the counter-attack is on. Rodriguez now, a good ball to Raul Jimenez now. He's going to straighten up. He's got a long way to go. They're just in front of goal. Tries to drag the ball into the box. He's just comes off the toe end of his right boot there. Can't find a finish. We'll be looking to drag it onto a left foot strike, but we know he's all right foot, isn't he? He got a little bit of a pass on his right. Even then, it's hard to flick the ball with the outstep of his right boot to get that one away. In the end, weight of numbers for Poland defensively proved enough, didn't it? But just for a second, I thought that they might just hit hard on the counter there, Mexico.
It's just I think it's 6 and 2 3s with that. I thought they were going to go the opposite side to the right wing. They didn't. They came near to the left. I think Poland, in fairness, actually did quite well to get back there and actually deal with things. It wasn't as if they missed a really good ball. Just seen Rodriguez come short in midfield for the pass. Again, someone has to start dictating play, driving forward. Look how many bodies for Poland, John. There's about 7 or 8 white shirts hanging around the edge of the box. They're playing for the draw and hoping to counter at the best.
Edson Alvarez finds Vega though, and he's got Gallardo as ever on the overlap now, and into the box he goes, and he's won a corner kick for his team. Comes off Matty Cash's toe end, who just looking to make a sub. Saw two there, which might be Nesta Arajo, or it could be Rodolfo Cota. We'll see. They might not make the change ahead of this corner. Now they've got a target to try and, in fact, two. Montez 6'5", Raul Jimenez 6'4". No point messing about now. Get the ball in the box. So anyway, off they go. The ball comes in. It flicks off a Mexico head through the box. Maybe a chance for a strike now. I just was waiting for the shot to come from Sanchez, who backed out of that. But they've got a chance to sling the ball back in the mix from the right-hand side. Lozano's effort is blocked away.
I think you went a bit ambitious there. I know it was bouncing towards him, but I mean, you just want to go. You want to go of the tournament contender early doors.
Carlos Alberto. In fact, it was a 2 and a 1. So Uriel Antuna is coming on for Mexico, and that little fella Alexis Vega going off, who I've thoroughly enjoyed watching tonight. I think he's been good.
Yeah, just to add to the drama today, Lionel Messi. It's all been about him. How often can people say Messi's name without not saying Ronaldo? He's just left Manchester United with immediate effects. So World Cup drama for him to talk about. He'll be putting himself in a shop window. I always love for World Cups that as well, John. You know, Vega play as the ball comes in. I love players that play in different parts of the world that might get a big European move. And I liked Vega. I thought he really gave some life to this team. And the next time Mexico are on, he'll be the one that I'll look out for.
And that's it, isn't that it? I mean, I love it. I love watching the players. I said, he plays for Monterrey, and just thinking, wow, I mean, I think Gallardo's been fantastic today down that left-hand side, played with pace. We know about his Sanchez, and Montez, the other big centre-back, has done okay. But you know what, they've still got a lot of work to do. Here come Poland. Well, I say that, and the ball down the left-hand side, where Frankowski, Poland have brought on subs who probably aren't as good as the players who they've come on for. And unfortunately, the players that they've come on for haven't had good games. So, Kamil Glik, 100th game for Poland tonight. They've been pretty staunch at the back, but they've had to be, because that's not been backed up at all by what they've got in midfield. Maybe, I don't know, should there be a 4-5-1 Poland? Zielinski might as well have not bothered tonight.
Which is weird, because he's been, has been one of the best players in Serie A for the last few years, when he's, it's a really wasteful ball across. I don't think they're set up right.
No, I don't.
You mentioned Cash as an attacking fullback. He just kicked it out for a throw on the far side. Tell me a time he's got in behind on the overlap. I can tell you, I think it's 0.
Well, it's all right having wing backs, but if you haven't got the ambition to play them up the field, it's pointless.
You've also got Milik, who's getting ready to come on. 4-4-2, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. As Mexico make ground down the right-hand side. Again, our referee is allowing challenges there. Chris Beath thought that Mexico might have won a free kick. They win the ball high up the field. It's smashed towards the left-hand side. And maybe an opportunity for Lozano into the box. He's shifted out left. I think maybe Uriel Antuna has gone the other side, out the right-hand side. But for the moment, Mexico again with Lozano. He's all right foot. He hurdles the first challenge, rolls the ball into the box. Jimenez tries to find him. Was he blocked off there? Referee's in a great position to not give the penalty, if you like. And in the end, there was some stellar defensive work in there. And they needed to be as well. They were under pressure, weren't they? Raul Jimenez's ball wasn't bad, but Cash there got the right side of it all.
It's a great call from the ref. It's a scissor tackle, isn't it? He's not meant to do it. It's just a desperation lunge to try and poke the ball towards goal. I think another issue as well, Lozano's not done enough for Mexico in the second half. He's flashed. He has been the best player they have had after Vega. But second game for the tournament for these two, must do more. Zielinski, the same can be said for Lozano. They are match winners on their day. They've just cancelled each other out. So far, of course, I'm just sat here thinking, right, stoppage time, couple of minutes, and then I'm remembering where we are.
10 minutes.
You could be here for ages.
Yeah, who knows? It's a guess, isn't it, how much they play. It's like a sort of best man's speech, isn't it? Anywhere between 4 and 10 minutes, I think. Anyhow, here in the middle of the park. Krychowiak again stabs it forward. He's done his job today. Here's Matty Cash now. I mean, he puts a cross in, but from so deep there, why is there no ambition for him to get round the back there and put a ball in from the byline? I don't know. He's crept up a little bit this time. He hasn't got any help, Matty Cash. If he's supposed to beat 3 to get to the byline there. Krychowiak puts the ball in. It's football by numbers, this. You know, they're loading the box up, but then they haven't got the ambition or the quality to play around the back to deliver a ball in from an angle. What you want to do is have the centre-backs facing their own goal. But inevitably, when the ball comes in, the centre-backs are facing the ball and able to nod it away. It's easy for a defence to play what's in front of them. It's when the ball gets in behind that you're in big trouble. Here's Lozano now. Chance to run. And again, he can see Cash's number. He goes for a strike, and it's felled. One of the Polish players who goes down. Because it's a head injury, then play's got to stop. Glick is the man down. That pile driver thumped right into him. And Matty Cash down his haunches too. Bang, right in the temple there.
Yeah, 100th cap. I mean, what a day for him as well and his family, not only for that achievement, to do it at a World Cup. I think he's defended really well tonight as well. He's robust, isn't he? He's not pretty, he's not fancy. He defends with a real menacing streak. There'll be better battles for him today. You know, I think he'd like to have. I think he's pretty happy that he's not had to go up against Raul Jimenez. And the only chance we've really had for Poland being Lewandowski's penalty miss. But you say miss, I think it's all in Guillermo Ochoa's brilliance. It's just, what is it with him and tournament football? He just comes alive.
Well, yeah, it's a great save. I think that's the pivotal moment. And sometimes you say, they missed a penalty. But no, keeper saved a penalty. He really did. Anyway, closing in on 90 minutes, and then the lottery. Anyway, whether we're going to end up in the house in Marbella, I don't know, but it could be anything. This here we go. The ball rolled to the edge of the area again. Gallardo's so fleet-footed. Hefty clearance that as well towards Jimenez, picked up by Lozano. Jimenez can hold the ball in. He's all right foot, and he puts a raking good ball out to right hand side. Real opportunity here for Mexico. They haven't got anybody in the box right now. Eventually, they're all waiting for it, and then the cross attempted is blocked away again by Krychowiak. But that was great from Uriel Antuna. There was nobody in there. There was no point playing that ball. So he held and held and held, and he's ended up winning a corner.
7 minutes.
It could have been anything.
It could have been a bit worse, though.
It could. I'm taking that. Taking that and running with it. It's a corner kick for Mexico. They have got big targets. Look out for the big 3 in there. Cesar Montes, the Monterrey stopper. Equally Raul Jimenez. Can they find either of them? Ball comes in. No, they only find the defender, and that's pretty good from Kiwior, who is able to clear his lines. Ball breaks back out now. Gallardo. Percentage ball into the box. They've still got some big guys in there. Ball breaks, and then there's a bicycle kick from Alvarez, but the flag had gone up. What's he saying? Number 4, great Alvarez.
Nice. Yeah. Nice from the official. Not only had the player, had the number.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that, and it clearly was Alvarez who then effected play with the bicycle kick. We've had a minute and a half of these 7. In the last game I did, they had 5 minutes and then played 7.5 at the end. All bets are off in terms of timings. Anyway, long ball forward. Matty Cash prods it back, and can they get something going? Milik now on the field, and he's already had more touches than Piotr Zielinski, but equally as cool there as he thumps his first long ball straight out. Where's the quality? Where's the quality from Poland today? It's not been there. Zielinski poor, Kaminski invisible. Szymanski almost a waste of time the first half. If Zalewski and Matty Cash are good wing backs, well, nobody's told them that they need to get forward, and it's all down to the coach and how his team is set up. I think belt and braces, but it's almost like they've tied themselves down today. It's all right telling Lewandowski to go and nick a goal, but out of nothing, and I think it's been frustrating for him. Anyway, 92.5 minutes gone. game petering out to some degree. As Matty Cash is being picked up by the assistant referee down there. Was it a fourth official? I don't know. Anyway, it's a free kick for Poland, which Kamil Glick will take. He looks up and looks long. Eventually he is going to leave it to others, and Cash will take it. Launches a long ball, just the edge of the area. And then Poland win it back. And so Berezinski now, really careless by him. Listen, he rolls out, he remembers he's off the field, then he's got to get back up. I think he was thinking he might buy some time there, but don't think he could. As Jimenez, a lovely little flick on. Real opportunity now for Antuna, but he just toe-ends the ball away from himself there. That was a real shame for the Mexico number 21. Needed a good touch, didn't get it. That's been the story of the game, really.
Yeah, I think Mexico have lacked that quality in the final third. There's been lots of effort from them, but not a lot doing. I think the referee's had a good game as well. There's a lot of 50-50s that have gone in, that both teams have been desperate for lunges and free kicks, and he hasn't given them. Here come Poland.
They do, into the box they go, and it's a shot on target. And this time Kaminski's getting a bit closer to goal, isn't he? But anyway, he making forward runs now, and I think he's been told to try and spring a surprise. He's the one who's breaking from deep into the box, and it is a shot on target, but Ochoa more than equal to that at his near post, as the ball picked up by Carlos Rodriguez in the middle of the park. He now just switches it back to Hector Moreno. Gallardo now drops a little bit deeper just in case he's needed, and he is. And now the ball to Lozano, who beats the first real poor challenge, and now he drives out left hand side, gets a cross in. Not a bad ball with his swinger, that really. I mean, it was easily blocked away, but I like the intent. Cash thought he was going to drop a shoulder, go on his right, and he didn't. You know, and that allowed him to get the ball in. None of his teammates read that, though, as Rodriguez back on the ball and into midfield. Sanchez, now Atunia on the right hand side, and he finds it. Sanchez looking for it in the box, but then some decent defending, and they're able to clear their lines. Frankowski's good out ball there, and that allows the counter-attack with Milik. Now hurdles the challenge, and can he get the ball away? Lewandowski waiting for it, picks it up, and then just chops the ball to Krychowiak. Just the edge of the area, going for a strike, and it wasn't too far away. But I think it looked like Ochoa always had that covered.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good hit. It's crisp. It's powerful. Again, I think that's more of what Poland should have been doing earlier. They just haven't had a go today in terms of, can they honestly say when they get, say they go out in the group stages, they'll look at this game and go, did we really give it our all on the front foot? Whether that's tactically, they were set up, the players might not believe it will break off, because here come Mexico.
Atunia now with a strike. Oh, it's poor. Look at where Raul Jimenez is. He could see glory right there, couldn't he? And in the end, he's done the wrong thing. Uriel Antuna needed to find his striker. You know, he's got right foot like a siege gun, Raul Jimenez, and you know, if you find him inside the box, he just thumps it in.
By the way, great result for Argentina, this.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. You know, it's a shame. I mean, I genuinely think here that both teams will be left kicking themselves. You know, and for Argentina, what they probably didn't want to see was, you know, Saudi Arabia 3 points and then another team 3 points in the group. You know, it kind of takes it a bit out of their hands. Argentina will probably going to win the next two, won't they? But you never know. They weren't great today. It's all about living to fight another day's World Cup. That's what the group stage is all about. You can have your off day, and Argentina had it, or Saudi Arabia had an on day today. But these two teams have cancelled each other out to some degree. 0-0. And it reminds you, the last two games I've seen have both been 0-0. But not without their talking points. See a long ball to Antuna, but he's not going to reach him, rolls straight out. And the referee be getting ready. Chris Beath, the Australian, to blow his whistle. It's not been a disappointing game, but it looks like it's all over. So the referee has blown up, and it is Mexico 0, Poland 0.
Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary. Well, it's half-time in the big match then, so a chance for us to take a breather, but we will be back in plenty of time to bring you all the action throughout the entire second half, so do join us shortly for independent, studio-based commentary.